Hi everyone, this is Gaby, and I'm back for another story. So today I actually felt inspired to share one of my personal stories around the loss of a pet. I just wanted to share this because I recently was looking at some old pictures of my first pet and I miss him dearly and I wish he was here with me, but it's been a long time, so all I have is my memories of him. So when I was a teenager, she wasn't really my pet. It was my grandma's pet, but since I grew up with her, he became my pet. He was gorgeous. He was kind of like one of those I don't know, he was like a mix of what's this? It's like he was like a cotton ball, like this big. He was so sweet. He was a bit cranky. He was old. But he was so sweet. I remember, one of my best memories as a teen is with him playing and just enjoying having a pet. I've always loved having pets. But one day he got really sick and nobody knew what he had. At least I didn't from my perspective. No one talked to me or explained to me what had happened. So I really thought that he was just very ill. I think he had distemper. I don't know if it's the same name in English, but he got really sick and unfortunately didn't make it. The way he passed, though, was what I think traumatized me a little bit. He had been sick for about 3 days, and on the third day, I've had it. I was, I think, 13 maybe at the time. And I was like, all right, we need to take this dog to the doctor and actually, or find another doctor that can tell us what is wrong and actually do something, not just give him like pain meds or something that will like just treat the symptoms, because that's what was happening. And so I was determined to find another doctor for my dog. So I get up that morning and I'm like, I see him just so weak and almost lifeless. I wrap him in a blanket. And as I'm going to the living room, my aunt, my uncles, everyone is telling me, are you sure? Where do you want to go? Like, we've done our best. This doctor is really good in town. And we lived in a small town where there were only probably like 3 pets. So, and the doctor that he was going to was like one of the best. But I wasn't convinced. I really wanted to find some other options. So I guess that morning, because of my determination, I think everyone at home also felt inspired and they were like, all right, we're going to do our best. As we're getting ready to head out, as I'm carrying him and I'm heading to the door, I feel like he's shaking a little bit and I see his little face. I touch him, I'm scratching his head and I'm telling him it's going to be fine. And all of a sudden he looks at me and he simply just shakes a little bit and goes. And I saw him do that, whatever seconds it took, and I just couldn't believe it. I simply held him, I stayed quiet, and all I heard was the scream of one of my cousins. She starts crying and saying, he's dead. I was in shock. For the first time, I didn't have a panic attack. I think it hit me so different that I just simply stayed there and observed him and just stayed quiet for whatever seconds it took until someone came and told me, give me the dog. And that's when everything hit. I started crying and screaming, and I just couldn't get over the fact that he had passed in my arms, that he had passed with no, agonizing and just with no medication to help him sleep. He just passed suffering, I don't know. Something hit me that I didn't want him to go through pain, and that's what he experienced during his passing. And I just couldn't get over the fact that happened. So I was completely destroyed. I remember that I think it took me like 3 weeks of just mourning, like constantly crying. And I didn't even go to school for a while, and everyone understood that. No one forced me to go to school. I was just so depressed. And I didn't understand so well what depression was, but I'm pretty sure if I think about it, now I was completely depressed. I wanted to die with him. That's how bad it felt for me. And thank God, with time, my family helped me mourn and remember him the best way possible. But I still remember that, and it still gives me that pain in the stomach. And but what really scarred me was the fact that he passed suffering. And I think my perspective on pain has never been the same after that. I think about it. I feel for people that feel pain, that suffer in some ways. And I feel for every animal out there that is suffering from something and is not getting help. I think at one point someone told me that I was experiencing, there is a term similar to eco-anxiety. Eco-anxiety is when you have anxiety about everything regarding the planet. Like when something happens, like for example, when there was a fire, I think not too long ago, there was a fire in the Amazon and it was destroying everything. Similar to Australia, there was a fire there too. I was sick. I was physically sick. And I know someone like that too. She was posting stories, helping raise money because she has a big following, and she was crying on her stories because the desperation that you can't do anything for these animals, for these places, for the people, the natives that live in these places. So there's a term similar to that, but for specifically for animals. I can't remember, and I wish I could remember, but I was going through that, and I know that sometimes when I think about it, when I think about animals or the environment even, I experience that, which is not good for my own anxiety because it kind of like exacerbates everything, and it becomes really hard for me to get over my own thoughts. I just can't get out of my own brain. And that's the way I am. I'm an overthinker. I tend to think a lot of these things about everything. I worry about everything. And I'm pretty sure not everyone does that on a daily basis, but that's who I am. And somehow it brings me back to my dog, my first dog. I don't know, I think there's a connection there, but it brings me always back to him. So I thought I would share that with you. If anyone has ever lost a pet, I totally understand you and I feel you. It's the most horrible thing. Some people don't understand, especially people that never had pets that are like family. But there are a lot of people also that know that pain and know that it's real and it can be really hard to overcome. So, but sometimes you have to accept that that's the cycle of life sometimes, and the best way you can honor them is to treat your current pets and be kind to animals, just because you loved one in the past. So I thought that was a nice way to end the story. So I'll see you next time for another one. Bye-bye.